Hello students, this is the first video of chapter 2 of civics, that is the Union Executive, in which today we are going to study the President of India. In last video of civics, we have discussed about the legislative organ of the government. If you remember, I have told you there are the three organs of the government: legislative, executive and judiciary. So legislative we have already covered, and now in this video we are going to start with the Union Executive, that too with the President of India. So, the President of India is the head of the state and the first citizen of India. He is the ceremonial head of State of India. Now, you must be wondering, what is ceremonial head? Ceremonial head means a figurehead in someone who appears to be in charge but who really holds very little influence. It's like a person who seems to be very powerful but actually he does not possess so much power. So this is what is the President of India. He is just the nominal head of the country, though he is considered head of the country, but still he has his limited powers. The President exercises his power on the advice of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. So why we call President as the nominal head? Because each and every decision, whatever is taken by the President, except the discretionary power, all the decisions are taken with the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So, the President is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India. I hope you must be knowing the defense forces of a country, which stands for military, navy and air force. I hope you must have seen on 26th of January when parade take place, and President is being honored by the salute of these three armed forces. Why? Because he is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India. Then qualifications, what a person require or possess to be elected as the President of India. He should be the citizen of India. This is the mandatory requirement which you will find in all the qualifications of the executives which we are going to study, which is in common present in all the qualifications which we will be studying, children. So the first and the foremost qualification which is required, that is he must be the citizen of India. Then second, he should not be less than the 35 years of age. So either 35 years of age or above, then only a person can contest the election of the president. Then the person should be qualified for the election as the member of the Lok Sabha. So whatever are the other qualifications of the Lok Sabha, that will be applicable over here. But children, I'll remind you one thing. If question comes in board examination, state the qualifications of the president. So I would suggest you not to write in detail about the various qualifications which are there of the Lok Sabha members, because that will not directly be applicable over here, because the important and the preferable qualifications would be the citizen of India, age criteria, other qualifications of Lok Sabha, as well as the office of prophet. So these are the four major qualifications which you should learn, which are mandatory to be learned, children. And then any other rest of the qualification if you find from the Lok Sabha of the members, then you can quote it over there in your answer paper. Then the term of the president is for 5 years. So once he is appointed, he stays in the office for 5 years, and he is eligible for re-election. He can again be re-elected for the post of the president, but for that also he has to contest the election. Then how election takes place? The system of election to the office of President of India is based on the proportional representation. Underline and understand this thing, because this is very important. Proportional representation by means of single transferable vote and the voting at such election shall be by secret ballot. So one by one we'll take all these terms. First, the proportional representation. So as we know, in our Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, the number of seats are decided as per the proportional representation. If a bigger state is there, then more number of seat will be there, and if less populated state will be there, then less number of seats will be appointed. So as per the particular of the state, the proportional representation will be taking place. Then means of single transferable vote. Single, that means one, and transferable, which could be transferred. So for this you should you please see the second point. In this system, each voter will have one vote, but voter can indicate his preference for as many contesting candidates as he likes in order of his or her preference or choice. So it's not that if one vote means that a person is going to vote for one person, definitely for one person, but here the preferences will be marked by the people, those who are casting their vote. Like if three contestants are there, those who are contesting the election of the president, so here they will give the vote like if A, B, C, three members are there, maybe the person who is casting the vote find B person as the as the most eligible for the post. So B, in front of B, 1 can be written, maybe A, after B he finds A at the second number, so second number, and C can be graded as the third number, so third preference. So here as per the person's preference, the voting is counted. So actually the manner of the election in detail is not there in your syllabus. We are not covering much in detail regarding the manner of the election. Here is just a gist what you require for the board examination, children. So that is over here, that is known as the single transferable vote. So you need to understand at this moment that the transfer of the vote or the voting takes place in the form of proportional representation, single transferable vote, and by through the secret ballot. I hope you must have studied in class 9, children, secret ballot and open ballot. Secret ballot, where people cast the vote secretly without letting anybody else know to whom you are casting your vote. That is what takes place in secret ballot. Now the third point, the authority to conduct election to the office of president is vested in the Election Commission of India. So whole sole authority, the whole sole preference of the to conduct the election of the president is done by the Election Commission of India. Electoral College. This is important, children. This question is frequently asked in boards. State the electoral college of the president. So here it comes. It consists of the elected members of both the houses of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha, the elected members of the state legislative assemblies, members of the National Capital Territory of Delhi and Union Territory of Puducherry, that consists of the electoral college. Now we will discuss this thing in detail. So electoral college, as you can see, I have highlighted, I have marked elected members only. Now why I have written elected members only? Because there are two categories of the members in our Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. If you remember, we have done in last, when we were discussing last video, legislature. So members in the house, whether it's Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, some members are elected and some are nominated. And who does that nomination? Nomination is done by the President of India. So obviously if President of India is nominating some person, so why that particular person will be participating in the election of the president itself? So therefore only elected members participate in the electoral college, so which consists elected members of Lok Sabha, elected members of Rajya Sabha, elected members of Vidhan Sabha, and elected members of two union territories, that is Delhi and Puducherry. Now various questions which must arise you in this particular chart. First one we have already discussed. Why only elected members? Because nominated people do not participate in the election because they are nominated by the president. Second, why only Vidhan Sabha? Why not Vidhan Parishad? Here I have not written Vidhan Parishad because they do not participate in election of the president. Because if you remember again, if you recall the last video, that time also I have told children Vidhan Sabha is present in all of the states, whereas Vidhan Parishad is present in only 6 states. So therefore, to give the equality to the elections, therefore only the elected members of Vidhan Sabha participate in the election of the president, not the Vidhan Parishad. Why? Because it is not present in all of the states. Then why only Delhi and Puducherry? Why not other union territories? Now the question is, answer is because Delhi and Puducherry only are having the elected members, whereas in rest all the other union territories we don't have the elected members. They have commissionaries and other ways of administrations are there in rest of the union territories. Therefore only Delhi and Puducherry are supposed to cast the vote for the election of the president. Then oath of office. The president takes an oath in the presence of the Chief Justice of India. Chief Justice of India is the highest judicial authority in our country of Supreme Court, and in his absence, if Chief Justice of India is not there or maybe resigned, post is vacant, or maybe due to some reason the person is not there, then in absence the senior most judge of the Supreme Court will the president will let him to take the oath of the office. Now, vacation of the office of the president, under which circumstances the president's office will stay vacant. First, in case of resignation, letter given to the vice president of India. As we know, after president in hierarchy, the second position is of the vice president of India. So therefore, the resignation letter of the president is given to the vice president of India. Then in case of death or in case of the impeachment, only the removal of the president is possible before than the 5 years. Otherwise we know that the tenure of the president is for the 5 years, and after 5 years the election take place. So now we will discuss what is impeachment. The impeachment is a procedure, or it is a process which may start in either of the two houses of the parliament. It is a procedure for the removal of all the higher dignitaries. Okay, all the higher officials can be removed only through this process, whether it is regarding the judicial officers, like we have discussed just now, Chief Justice of India, or the highest, senior most judge of the judiciary, or president, or any other vice president except prime minister. All the higher dignitaries are removed through the impeachment procedure only. Okay, so this process can start in either of the house, either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. Just like the ordinary bill, if you remember, it could be proposed in either of the house. So the charges are contained in a notice that has to be signed by at least 1/4 of the total members of the house. For an example, if Lok Sabha Lok Sabha wants to pass the resolution of impeachment, so it has to be signed by at least 1/4 of the total members, and in the form of notice, and the notice is set up to the president for 14 days. A notice is given beforehand for 14 days before we start the resolution, and it is taken up for consideration. A resolution to impeach the president has to be passed by a 2/3 majority of the total member, and when the resolution or the impeachment process starts, it has to be passed in the house, in each house, at least by the 2/3 majority. Whatever the members are there of the house present and voting, at least 2/3 majority of the house should agree that the person should be impeached, should be removed from his post, and then it is sent to the other house. Then The other house investigates the charges that have been made. Okay, so another house also does the same procedure. They discuss on the matter, then the voting takes place, and if they two-third majority pass on it, then only the impeachment is passed. So during this process, the president has the right to defend oneself through an authorized counsel. If the second house also approves the charges made by a special majority, the president stands impeached and is deemed to have vacated their office from the date when such a resolution stands passed. So, as soon as the resolution is passed, the impeachment procedure takes place and the resolution is passed against the president, immediately the person has to resign, has to leave the post of the president. He has to vacate the office from the date when the resolution has passed. So, for the information, children, till now, not a single president has been impeached. So, no president has faced impeachment proceeding. So, the above the provision has never been used. So, as we can see, it's a big process for the removal, or rather, I would say it's a very tedious process for the removal of the president. Same you'll notice in the next videos also, that the same procedure is followed to remove all the higher dignitaries. I have told you, except the prime minister, the procedure is different. So this was the procedure. Let's revise that. The first of all, the impeachment process or procedure starts in either of the house. It could be Lok Sabha also, it could be Raj Sabha also. Then the notice is signed by at least 1/4 of the total members. Whichever house it is being proposed, it has to be signed by at least 1/4 of the total members. Then the notice is given to the president. After that, resolution is discussed in the house. The process takes place in the house, and if and two things can happen after the resolution. Either resolution can be cancelled, or if it is passed by the two-third majority of the house, then it goes to the second house. In second house also same procedure follows. If it is approved by two-third majority, then immediately the person stays removed. No, the person is called off or is impeached from the post, and immediately he has to leave his post and vacate the office. So that was the impeachment procedure of the president, children. Now we are going to discuss about the additional, some extra information which you should know being the citizen of India. So regarding the president of India, right now at the present, the current president of India is Ramnath Kovind, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. Then the Rajendra Prasad was the first president of India. I hope all of us know that. He is also the only president who served the office twice. If you remember, I have told you that the president can be re-elected for the tenure. So he is the only president of India who has been the president of India who has served 2 terms of the office, becoming the longest serving president. Dr. Zakir Hussain was the third president of India. He was also the first Muslim president, and he was also the first president who died in his office during his tenure. Not office, but during his tenure of the office, he died. So he was the shortest serving president of India. And who was the longest? Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Who was shortest? Zakir Hussain. Then Pratibha Patil was the first woman president of India. And some fact about Rashtrapati Bhavan: it is an official residence of the Indian president, which have 340 rooms, building located in Delhi, which is also known as the Rajpath. So this is what was there related to the president of India. Extra information. This is just for the information, but previous impeachment, oath and rest, all the points, study in detail, children. This is important for your board examination. Thank you.